She was just the maid. Every morning, Maria quietly walked through the marble-floored mansion of the Whitmore estate. Her hands smelled of lemon polish, and her heart carried dreams she could never afford to speak out loud. The house was a world of luxury: silk curtains, crystal chandeliers, gold-framed paintings. But for her, it was just a place of work. She cleaned, she folded, she vanished into the walls. Until one morning he noticed her. David Whitmore, the newly divorced billionaire, cold-hearted to the world but strangely curious about the woman scrubbing his piano with such quiet grace. He had returned early from a meeting. She didn't notice he was watching her until he softly asked, "You do this every day?" She froze, surprised he was even speaking to her. "Yes, sir. It's part of my job," she replied, quickly lowering her eyes. That was the first time he looked at her not as a maid, but as a woman. Over the next few days, the air between them began to change. He lingered longer in rooms she was in. He started asking about her life. She noticed how his eyes followed her when she bent to clean under the dining table. Their fingers touched once, accidentally arbored, as she handed him a glass of wine, and both of them paused. A little too long. Something unspoken stirred. Something forbidden. Then came the storm. One rainy night, power went out across the city. Maria stayed late to clean up after dinner. David lit candles in the living room and, for the first time, invited her to sit. She hesitated, and it wasn't proper. But something about the way he looked at her made her heart race. They sat in silence for a while, the thunder echoing outside, and then he whispered, "You don't have to pretend you don't feel it too." Her breath caught. "This can't happen," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I work for you." But David leaned in and said, "You're more than that." He kissed her gently, like a man who had finally found peace in the middle of a storm. What followed was a secret romance, hidden in stolen glances and whispered midnight meetings. He took her to his lake house far from the city. They danced barefoot in the kitchen, cooked together, and made love like no one would ever find out. For a while, it felt like the world stopped, like maybe love could conquer the rules written by class, wealth, and society. But fairy tales don't last forever. One morning, Maria came downstairs wearing one of his shirts, her hair loose, smile soft. Mrs. Langford, the old head housekeeper, saw her. The way she looked at Maria, like she'd committed a crime just by being loved, said everything. Rumors started. Whispers grew louder. The staff began to avoid her. Some snickered behind her back. And then, it reached the board of directors. David called her into his office. This time there were no candles, no music, just cold silence. "They found out," he said, "my reputation, the company. They want you gone." Maria looked at him, the same man who once kissed her like she was everything. "So I'm disposable?" she asked, her voice cracking. David's eyes filled with regret. "No, but they'll destroy you to hurt me." He didn't ask her to leave. But he didn't ask her to stay either. That night she packed her things. No one stopped her. She left without a goodbye, not because she wanted to, but because pride hurts more than heartbreak. She looked back one last time at the mansion that had once felt like a dream. She had given everything, and now she was just gone. 6 months passed. Maria now worked at a quiet little art gallery in the city. She made enough to get by. She smiled more. She slept better. But some nights she still missed him. The warmth of his touch, the safety in his voice. Then, one evening as she was closing up, someone knocked on the glass door. She turned around, and there he was. David, standing in the rain, holding nothing. No umbrella. No flowers. Just pain and hope in his eyes. "I sold the company," he said. She blinked, stunned. "Why?" "Because I got tired of building empires without you in them." He didn't come with promises. He came with truth. "I don't care what they say. I want mornings with you, burnt toast, your laughter, a small apartment, no secrets, just us." She didn't respond. She just walked into his arms and didn't let go. Because sometimes love doesn't follow rules. Sometimes the most forbidden love is the one your heart was waiting for all along.